What's up, y'all? Here's a little bit of a podcast extra just to hold you over until we come back from our break. I hope you enjoy it. What's up, y'all? It is your girl, Shonda D, and I am back with another episode of Brown Liquor. And today, y'all, we are going to be discussing overthinking. Okay? This is one of the things that I struggle with a lot. Okay? When I say a lot, I mean a lot. Like, overthinking will have me not do something that I have been wanting to do for a very long time simply because I am just overthinking it, literally. And I was listening to a podcast. Y'all know that I listen to I don't know how many podcasts. And it was a Christian based podcast, as a matter of fact. And the host was talking about how she struggles with overthinking. And it made me think, like, well, if she's in this space and she is struggling with this, then surely I can dig a little deeper into how I struggle with it. And hopefully this information will help somebody who's also struggling with overthinking. Um, Obviously, that's what we're here for. I'm trying to give y'all this information in hopes that it'll help you become a better you, because we're at the end of the year. We not trying to go into 2025 with no mess, no drama, no overthinking, no stinking thinking, no negativity, no nothing that's going to keep us from being who we need to be in the new year. I know a lot of times you hear new year, new me, all this other stuff, but really I am trying to give y'all tools to help you become a better you, because that's what we're here for. I definitely want to become a better version of myself, and I feel like finding ways to address my overthinking will definitely help me get there. In the meantime, in between time, y'all gonna get these tools, okay? Yeah. So let's get into it. Overthinking, by definition, is too much thinking about something, to put too much time into thinking about or analyzing something in a way that is more harmful than helpful. So remember that key point: in a way that is more harmful than helpful. Because I feel like a lot of people think overthinking is just over analyzing or thinking about simple things too much, and it can be that, but it can also be harmful or helpful. That's the key point. So, in her episode of Overthinking, she basically was talking about, how stories in the Bible related to overthinking, and how overthinking affected people in the Bible, and how it made them make certain decisions and not make other decisions, and that whole thing. We not gonna get into that because I'm not that much of a Bible scholar to even go there. Like, I love the Lord, I love the Bible, y'all know that, but I'm working on being a better Christian. We gonna say that. Okay. All right. So let's get into these different types of overthinking. Okay. So one of the main types, and this is just information that I simply just got off of Google. I'm not even gonna try to dig into my psychology bag and be like, oh, I remember this from school, I remember that from school. And while I'm talking about some of these things, some concepts from what I learned in school may come up, but overall, this is information that I got from the Googles. Okay, so do your research, do your own research. But the first type of overthinking we are going to talk about is rumination. Rumination is a common type of overthinking that involves repetitive, involuntary, and compulsive negative thinking. Rumination can involve thinking about negative past events, problems, or concerns. It's a dominant symptom of anxiety and depression. So, I will say, in my experience, some of the things that I typically do ruminate on are the potential of a negative result. For instance, I just had like this whole health thing. I had to go get a test done, and in the back of my mind, months and months and months, the day before the test, I was in tears. I was at work boo-hoo crying. Not only because I was scared, but because I kept thinking about what could the result be. Mind you, I hadn't even gone through the process to take the test. I never had any problems with this situation prior to. My doctor just kind of did it as a precautionary thing. But for me, it was just like, well, what if, like in the back, like that's how my mind works. It just kept going to the worst of the worst of the worst. And then that spiraled into me having visions of telling people bad news, having to call my family, having to tell my wife, having to, like all of those things. And it was just like, girl, you ain't even got in the doctor's chair yet. Like, I have to have an MRI every year. So I kind of knew what was going on, but I didn't know the medical terminology of, what was happening. And that can be scary. Just being honest, that can be scary. And I feel like that's what got me to that place. And I'm still waiting on one result, but so far the other results were good. So, I mean, it was just something that, because I was thinking about it constantly in my mind, it was no other way but to go left when I should have been thinking about going right. You know what I mean? Anyway, next type of overthinking is catastrophizing. I know that's a big word. Catastrophizing. This involves thinking that something, someone, or situation is worse than it actually is. For example, you might worry that you'll fail an exam, which leads to worrying about failing the class, and so on. Catastrophizing is associated with mental illness like anxiety disorders, depression, and post-traumatic stress disorder. So, yeah. When I was in school, I will say that I had a lot of catastrophizing, based on that example. Something I thought is worse than it actually is. Um, that's kind of related to the example that I just gave with my health scare too. Like, I catastrophized that it was going to be worse than what it actually is. And of course, during the procedure, like I said, I was scared for the procedure to happen, but I didn't know what they were going to be doing anyway. I was going to be put to sleep. So it was like, why are you worrying about something that you're not even going to feel anyway? And a surgery for me is just a whole scary thing all in itself, because this is the most I've ever had to have any kind of procedure. A couple years ago, as a matter of fact, it is the 3-year anniversary of my fibroid surgery. So I had to have that. And then now this procedure that I just had to have, it wasn't technically a surgical procedure, but to me, anything that you have to put me to sleep for is damn near surgery. So another type of overthinking is future tripping. And that just is another type of overthinking. It doesn't give me an example of that one. Some of the other examples of, oh no, I'm sorry. There's more. Another example of type of overthinking, I'm sorry, is imagining worst case scenarios. It says imagining the worst case scenarios or outcome, following your worries out of the present moment and into an unchangeable past or unforeseeable future. So that could be past or present. And I deal with that a lot. Like, y'all know, on top of this podcast and on top of helping Nikki with her business, I also still work my regular 9 to 5 job. Now, mind you, I have been certified to work in pharmacy since 2007, 2008, maybe. maybe 2009. I don't know, but it's been a long time. Is my point. And I have been working in my current job for almost 7 years, and I have a whole degree in psychology. And for me, it's just constantly being like, I don't want to leave my job because I love my boss, I love my owner, I love our environment. Like, my job can be really, really fun. It also can be really, really stressful. Um, but there's a part of me that wants to explore this different new profession, this new part of who Rashonda can be and who Rashonda can become in a professional setting while doing what I paid so much money for this degree for. You know what I mean? I ultimately, what I want to do with my degree, it is kind of challenging in Florida because our lovely governor has banned social and emotional learning here in Florida, and that's ultimately what I want to be able to do, is create curriculums centered around social and emotional learning. I've still been working on the background on some things, but there's a hesitancy for me to leave my job when I don't know what's ahead or what's to come or what's going to happen. Am I going to like my new boss? Am I going to like a new owner? Am I going to like a new set of coworkers? Like, those kind of things prevent me from even putting in the application and trying. And it's just like, why do you settle for that? Like, why do you set yourself up not even knowing, what it could be a great field. You know what I mean? Of course, the money is going to be different. That's another thing that has kind of held me back to the money of everything. I make really good money to sit and type prescriptions all day. They just hit me up, as a matter of fact, and asked me to log in because they need some help. I could be getting overtime right now, but no, I am here with y'all. Okay. Um, so another type of overthinking is second guessing yourself. It says, if you ever found yourself second guessing your decisions, obsessing over worst case scenarios, or meditating on all the things you could have done, second guessing your decisions, mental exhaustion, inability to relax, constantly reminding yourself of your mistakes, and trying to find hidden meaning behind them. Yo, when my boss sends me an email of an error that I did and it went out to a facility or got to a patient, I immediately start second guessing. Like, I'm trying to pull up the document. I'm trying to make sure it was my name that signed off on it. I'm trying to make sure I entered it and nobody else went in and changed anything, because we have multiple departments within my building that could easily, go in and change something and make it look like it's the person who entered the order's fault. So for me, any type of mistake, whether it's with this podcast, when I go to listen back to the episodes and I'm hearing skipping and I'm hearing, all types of different things. I'm just like, oh, why nobody told me? I'm second guessing our internet. I'm like, is it too slow? Is it me? Is the computer? What is it? What is it? So I'm always trying to figure out, especially when I know I've made a mistake or when I know I made an error on my behalf and I know it was mine. I'm going to try to figure out what I did wrong, how I did it wrong. And every time anything comes up that is similar to that error or that mistake, trust me, that issue, that initial moment is going to come into my mind. And I'm going to be like, okay, remember, you cannot do this. You did this the last time. Now you need to do this. Yeah. So we already talked about rumination. Inability to relax is just that, the inability to relax. Like, you just cannot get it together. Babe struggles with that. She has a real problem trying to just sit still. If she's not doing something business related or work related, her brain cannot just be calm and be in the moment. I tell her that all the time. I need you to be more present. I need you to pay more attention. I need you to be more mindful, because she is always on work next. What, you know what I mean? What can we do next? How can we? She's always laser focused, and I have to try to bring her down to reality and real life sometimes, just so I can have her here with me. I love sharing her with y'all in the world and all of her businesses and all of her accounts and all of her things, but also I want my me time. And I want my me time to be uninterrupted me time. Um Another type is constantly looking out for threats. It says to stop overthinking, you can try challenging your thoughts, reaching out to loved ones for support, talking to a mental health professional, constantly looking out for threats. There's nothing wrong with this strategy if you feel in control, but it can quickly backfire. So this, I feel like this is more so like a parenting type of overthinking. If you have children and you're constantly worried about their well-being when they're away from you, when they are with the babysitter, when they're at school, granted, I feel like those are valid reasons to worry, because the state of this world right now with these school shootings and all these other things that are happening in the world, you just kind of never really know. And I don't have children yet, so I can't relate. But I feel like if you've ever been in a traumatic situation like a school shooting or like a mass shooting, you're always looking out, looking over your shoulder, trying to make sure your environment is clear, because you just don't want to be in that type of situation anymore. Overanalyzing. This is my cousin. Okay, overanalyzing is like my first cousin. Cause when I tell you the way that overanalyzing lives inside my brain rent free, first of all, I'm gonna need you to come down here and pay some of these bills. Cause what you can do is help a sister out if you're gonna be over it. Okay. Um, Overanalyzing and obsessing actually becomes a barrier. Research shows thinking too much makes it tough to make decisions. It says overthinking can take three forms: rumination, which we already talked about, overanalyzing, and future tripping, which are all combined other ways of overthinking. Um, Overanalyzing stems from the effort to try to seek solutions to every problem placed in your way. One might descend into a phase of seeking, then that gets cut off. But basically, it looks like, overanalyzing comes from, you always trying to have a solution for other people. Now, for me, this type of overthinking really shows up for me because I am the youngest in my family of five. So I have a stepsister and a stepbrother. And then my mom and my dad had us three girls, and I am the youngest of all of us. And for me, and I talked about this before on the podcast, so y'all could go back and listen to that episode. But for me, being the youngest and really seeing the mistakes that my sisters, my older siblings had made, really made me want to give my parents something else. It made me want to be different for them. And that turned into overachieving, um, always wanting to get that satisfaction from them, always looking for, praise from them, just always being the good child, the good kid, the one that don't cause problems, all of those things. And I feel like now that has, as an adult, has turned into me just always try to have some type of answer for everybody else's problem. I may have an answer for 5 people's problems that come to me in a work day, in a social setting, in my siblings, my family members, whoever may come to me with a problem. I may be able to give you 5 solutions. But when it comes to my own problems, thy own self be true, to thy own self be true, baby, we gonna overanalyze. We gonna overthink. We gonna ruminate. We gonna not come to a conclusion, and we gonna be real indecisive because it may be too many options. It may be too many what ifs. It could be something that, like I said, I spend too much time ruminating on. So here we are, you know. Um, One last type of overthinking that we're going to talk about is all or nothing and overanalyzing. Or, I'm sorry, overthinking. It says all or nothing thinking. This type of overthinking involves only seeing the solution in black or white instead of looking at it from both good and bad. All or nothing thinking, you may feel like you're struggling at work, or on the flip side, like your employee of the month. It's either all or nothing. All or nothing, viewing things as always one way or always another with no gray area in between. Catastrophizing, thinking about the worst possible outcome. So, those are some types of overthinking. Now, in this same Google search, it gave me some techniques to help with overthinking and some symptoms of overthinking. So, before we close out, I just want to give y'all these, because if you identify with any of these symptoms of overthinking, then baby, this episode was for you. Me and you, but you. Okay. So some symptoms of overthinking include perfectionism, and I just talked about that. Always wanting to be the good kid, always wanting to be the one with no problems, always wanting to make all the good grades. I struggled with perfectionism for a long time, and I still kind of do. I still kind of like now, I mean, when, like I said, my boss just kind of hit me up to sign into work, and I'm like, no, I got vacation time that I'm trying to give away. So I definitely don't want to work no overtime. But at the same time, it's like, as a lead, as a supervisor in my position, I feel obligated to be there for them in times like this. I have a coworker that's pregnant, that's due any day now. So, you know what I mean? Part of me feels bad for even, you know what I mean, exploring my passion and doing the things that I love to do, which is recording this podcast and making some extra content. But at the same time, it's like, I'm off today. Okay. So, yeah. Constant self criticism. I'm going to need you to light up on yourself, sis. I'm going to need you to light up, because before my birthday, I was probably the biggest self critic ever. And I don't know what it was. I really do think it was a mild depression. But I was just unhappy. I was sad. Like, my wife could see the difference in me. Even she came and was like, you have not been yourself. Like, so I'm gonna need you to fix that. So self-criticism, I'm gonna need you to lighten up on yourself. And if you need a tip to help you with this, write down all the good attributes of yourself that you know of. Ask about 2 or 3 family members, ask about 2 or 3 friends, what are your good attributes? And anytime you feel like that self-criticism is coming up on you, go to your list. Go to your list and just run it down. And you can make those affirmations. I am whatever. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am all the things, all the adjectives that they give you, all the adjectives that you come up with yourself to describe yourself. You can use those to reaffirm yourself. Okay? Inability to think about anything else. Of course, we know that's a symptom of overthinking. That's kind of obvious. Unable to relax. We already talked about that. Constantly feeling worried or anxious. We already talked about that. Second guessing decisions. We kind of already talked about that. Fixating on things outside of your control. Oh my God. Let me tell you something. I have to pray every day that God, just let me worry about the things that I can control and let you have the rest. Cause if it was up to me, honey, I would need control over all of this. And I'm not big G God. I'm not a big G God. I'm not. I only look to big G God, okay? I praise him, I worship him, but I am no big G God. So I can't control nothing. Okay? I don't have no control over none of this. Like, yes, I can control simple things in my life, in my everyday orbit. You know what I mean? But overall, big G. Um, Feeling mentally exhausted. Oh my God. Like I told y'all, I was in that funk right before my birthday. I was mentally, physically, and emotionally exhausted. Like I was spent. I probably was really burnt out prior to my birthday. I would say probably like a month before my birthday. Well, about the end of August, my boss went out on leave because she had to have a similar surgery to mine. But that's her story to tell. She had to have womanly surgery, and I basically was in control of the office for those 2 months that she was out. And when I tell you that responsibility really took a toll on me, and I'm used to being in managerial supervisory positions. I've done it all my life. Y'all know I worked for Walmart for 11 years. I was an assistant manager. I had been a supervisor. I had been lead data entry. I'm at lead pharmacy tech of the region, like all kind of stuff. So like I'm used to being in managerial roles, but that took a toll on me. And when she came back, I gladly was like, you can have your children back. I give them all back to you. Have them, because they showed out. They worked my nerves. Everybody worked my nerves. Um some techniques that can help with over managing overthinking. So mindfulness and relaxation exercises, of course, meditation. Meditation, I know it's very hard to do, but meditation will really bring your overthinking, your worry, your anxiousness, your stress, it will bring those levels down, and you can just be able to focus on what is in front of you, whether that's working out, whether that's you're at work, whether you are with your significant other and it's boo time, you know what I mean? Like whether you're with your kids, whatever it is, you could really wind down, refocus your mind, recenter yourself, and focus on what is right in front of you. Distraction. Now, they have they have distraction listed as one of the ways to help manage overthinking, but I know y'all probably heard people say distraction is just a trauma response, and it is, but you can distract yourself with good things like reading fantasy books. You could draw, you could color, you can get one of those adult coloring books and go to town, have a ball, go sit in the park and people watch. That's a distraction. Just any type of distraction. It's not just staying busy, it's the only distraction that you could use in this scenario. Social interaction, get out, meet people, go have fun, go to a bar. I'm not saying get drunk. I didn't say that, because alcohol can sometimes contribute to your overthinking. And also drugs can also contribute to your overthinking. I'm not saying that. And even as a brown liquor advocate, okay, okay. even as a brown liquor advocate, I'm not saying go get drunk. Yes, you can have a drink, have a glass of wine, you know what I mean? Do what you do, but do it with caution. I will say that. Um, Positive real appraisal or reframing. And that's kind of what I talked about earlier with those affirmations, making sure you affirm yourself, having a way to remind yourself of the good things, so you're not just always focused on the negative. I have made us a productivity board so that in our bedroom, so that when we wake up, we can see the things that we need to get done for the day and also for the week. So you can work ahead or you can work in place, whatever works for you. But just know it is all here. You can see everything that you are obligated to do, whether it's podcasting, whether it's due dates for Babe and all of her businesses, because she has a hard time keeping up. She's the secretary, the boss, the CEO, the what do people call the HR? She's all of it. So I know she needs some assistance, and that's my way of trying to help her in the capacity that I can right now. Physical activity. I mentioned that earlier. Go work out, go jump rope, go for a walk, go jog, go roller skating. Any type of physical activity. Like once you really start to get out and move your body, your brain is not focused on all the things that you probably were focusing on prior to. You can literally just focus on what you're doing, whether it's roller skating. Right now it's December. I mean, we're in Florida, but a lot of people have ice skating rinks open right now. Like you see all the families, all the happiness, all the cheer, all the joy, the Christmas spirit around you. Focus on that. Go do something. And like I said, it's as simple as going for a walk. It ain't even got to be nothing grand, nothing major. Healthy lifestyle habits. Get some sleep. Let me say that again. Is this on? Let me get some sleep. Okay? Get some rest. Okay? A lot of us are overthinking and stuck in our heads because we just are tired and our brains don't know what to do, don't know how to displace the lack of sleep. So it displaces the lack of sleep with overstimulating your brain with other things that you have no control over, or that are festing, just running rampant in your head, because where else can they go? They have no place to go. And your body recognizes that it's worry and that it's unsettled and that it's not finished and that you don't have the result yet. You don't have. So it's like, oh, okay, well, since she didn't get enough rest, I could just push that to the front of the brain and let her ruminate on that, since she didn't ruminate on no sleep. Yeah. So get some sleep. Getting into nature. Go for a walk in a trail park, in a secured trail park. We live right by a park from us. It has like 4 or 5 walking trails. We went maybe once, maybe twice. But that's our business. Okay. Get into nature. Go hug a tree. Do some grounding. Take your socks off and walk around your backyard if you have one. Or walk in a park in some grass. Do some grounding. Okay. Touch the earth. Put your hands on the trees, put your hands on the flowers, put your feet on the ground. You know what I mean? And just enjoy some grounding. Um, and the last option is take action, which is simple enough. Do the things that you can do and let the rest worry about itself when it's time for it to worry about itself. And then the last one is CBT therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy. Just in case you didn't know what CBT stood for, cognitive behavioral therapy. Go get a therapist. Okay. A lot of us don't want to do it. We're working on finding a therapist right now. I have printed out a list of therapists in our area that are accepting new clients because, of course, we're about to get married. So we have to do couples counseling anyways. But we have come to realize that we need some individual therapy as well. And it's only going to, like I said at the beginning of this, make us a better version of who we are. And ultimately, that's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to continue to grow. I'm trying to continue to get better. I don't know about you. I don't know about nobody else, but I don't want to keep settling and being stuck in fear. I'm reading Power Moves right now. And you know what? I just realized this. One of the reasons why I could say I haven't finished that book is because I know it's going to challenge me to do some new things and become a new person. And it's like I'm not in a space where I'm ready to accept that yet. So I haven't finished the book. I've had that book since I think it came out in April. I've had it since probably like May. Because at first it was hard to find. And then I was able to get one from Target. And I started reading it. I'm on chapter 3. But I'll be honest, I'm probably going to start the book over. Because I don't remember necessarily what chapters 1 and 2 were. And I have some questions on my phone about overthinking. But because I'm recording this on my phone, I can't obviously look at the questions. But it's cool. It's fine. I might do an extra episode where I answer those questions separately, and then we'll do an extra on those questions, those homework questions, because they were some good questions. And I'm gonna give y'all my real, true, honest answers. Like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'm not gonna give y'all no BS. I'm gonna give y'all some real deal vulnerability. Okay, because I feel like that's the only way you can help people change is if you just be open and honest. And y'all know that's what we here for. But with that being said, y'all, I'm gonna go ahead and get up out of here. It has been another podcast extra of Brown Liquor, baby. No, we didn't give you no drink of the week because you don't need one. Put that down. Put it back. Go sit it down. Okay, that's why you're overthinking. All right, now make sure y'all follow us on all of our social media. Wherever you're listening to this podcast episode, leave us a rating and a review. Tell us what you really think of the episodes. I need the feedback. Trust me, I can use it. Like I said, I'm not scared. I want the feedback. And make sure y'all come back next week for another episode of Brown Liquor. And don't forget to what? Lick that split. This has been a production of Brown Liquor Media Group. Tune in every Saturday, wherever you get your podcasts, to catch these vibes. Follow us on all social media platforms at Brown Liquor and join our Facebook group, Brown Liquor Lesbian Conversations, where your voice is always heard and your opinion matters.